Are you tired of dying in GMs and other high-end content? This build will weaken everything and take even the toughest GM enemies and make them feel like an EDZ drag. I'm going to teach you how you two can have constant 97% damage reduction, weaken everything by 30%, supply endless void overshields for both you and your teammates, and make so much special ammo that your teammates will literally be able to use their special weapons as a primary. My name is D2 Nova, and if you like the sound of that, then you're going to love this video. And if you do enjoy it, I would greatly appreciate it if you liked and considered subscribing to stay up to date on future videos. This build is centered around a criminally underrated exotic helmet, the Fellwinter's Helm. The exotic trait allows finishers and powered melee final blows to weaken enemies by 30%. However, when testing this build, we found a hidden interaction where it actually disorients enemies as well. This completely stops them from shooting for a few seconds, which can be huge in GM level content. Please consider subscribing if you didn't know that. We then pair this with our exotic weapon of choice, Vexcalibur, whose exotic trait allows us to grant void overshields to ourselves and nearby teammates simply by blocking. It's also very important that we have the replenishing Aegis refit, as it refills one round into the magazine every second by just blocking damage. Our Glaive Shield gives us 97% damage reduction and can be constantly refreshed by dealing damage with its projectile. When we block damage with that shield, we refill some ammo thanks to the replenishing Aegis perk, allowing us to loop this block for over a minute straight. We then pair this with our Voidwalker subclass. The super and abilities are up to you, but the important part is the aspects and fragments. First off, we need Feed the Void, which grants us Devour on ability kills. After the recent nerfs, it's also the only way in the game to get pre-nerf Devour. Secondly, we take Child of the Old Gods. This is an easy way to weaken a group of targets, and it works extremely well with our first aspect, Echo of Harvest, which allows us to generate an Orb of Power and avoid breach simply by defeating a weakened target. This aspect also synergizes with the weaken from Fellwinter's Helm, so just by finishing enemies we will be constantly spawning Orbs of Power and void breaches. Later I'll tell you how we can make the most out of those orbs to make infinite special ammo. For survivability, after we finish an enemy, we're running Echo of Obscurity, which will grant us invisibility. We want Echo of Starvation, as it grants us Devour on orb pickup, which can be huge in high-end content where it's harder to proc Feed the Void with ability kills. Finally, we want Echo of Persistence to buff our Devour, Overshield, and Invisibility timers. Ordinarily, I'd go from the helmet down with mods, but we'll start on the class item and legs because they're home to the most important mods of this build. Those are Special Finisher, Proximity Ward, Elemental Charge, and Stacks on Stacks. These four mods allow us to safely finish enemies, maximize the amount of armor charge per orb picked up, and then use those armor charges to generate infinite special ammo. We then want Void Siphons and one copy of Ashes to Assets on the helmet, Firepower and Bolstering Detonation on the arms, Resist mods on the chests, and Recuperation on the legs. The gameplay loop is simple. Start by popping a rift and damage targets to weaken them with Child of the Old Gods. Block with your glaive and damage targets as you approach for a finisher, then finish a target to generate an Orb of Power and avoid breach, which also causes you to go invisible, and apply the 30% weaken debuff to nearby enemies. Continue dealing damage with your glaive to keep the shield up, finish targets as often as possible, and use invisibility to reload and pick up orbs as needed. Every time you have free armor charge and hit a finisher, you'll generate a full special ammo brick for both you and your teammates. Repeat this and absolutely destroy everything. This build was a ton of fun to play with and is arguably better than the Stronghold Titans for GMs because you don't need to worry about ammo economy. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed this build video, go check out the Void Hunter build I made. Please like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and with that, I am D2 Nova. Thank you for watching and have an amazing rest of your day. Peace.
Thank you.